Hello darlings, Marianne here, coming to you from Southern California, talking about past lives, past life regression healing, and all things past lives, and obviously related to this life and how past life healing can best serve you in this lifetime. And also today I actually wanted to twist it a little bit and talk about your next incarnation and how to have the best future life. Now, this is for those that are really interested in spiritual growth and evolution and soul progression and that kind of thing. There are about 6 levels of soul age or soul stage. Now, a 1 or a 2 are very new souls that have they're either only been on the earth a few times or not a lot of times, or they might have been here thousands of times, but they're just not learning very much. And then the numbers progress up the list. Now, if you're a level 6 soul, then, and I've also heard this talked about from 1 to 10. I've also heard it talked about 1 to 6. So this is based on the 1 to 6 scale that you would have a soul age between 1 and 6. Now, a 6 is like you're a guru, you're ready to vibrate off the planet, and you are very much feeling like a fish out of water, but you spend your time in the spiritual realm, very connected to God, connected to higher source, your guides, or whoever you relate to, but getting close to sort of being done here on this planet and being done with this whole cycle of birth and death. And for some of us, on a spiritual path, that is sort of the goal, is to really end this cycle of birth and death, and maybe go to a higher dimension, or be a spirit guide in our next incarnation. And I'll just be honest, I mean, that is my goal. This is all fine and dandy, but I do believe, this plane, this dimension, but I do believe that there are other slightly more exciting kind of dimensions to be in that aren't all about terra firma and physically focused. Now, how to have a better incarnation, or how to stop the cycle of birth and death, is actually a little harder than it's going to sound easy. How about that? But the actual outworking of it is not that easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. Does that make sense? So basically, it's about forgiving. You have to be willing to forgive everything and everyone, and completely undo the fearful mind. So basically, think about it like this: if heaven is a state of absolute bliss and peace, well, we need to be peaceful, completely peaceful, to fit into that environment. I've heard it said like that, and it kind of makes sense. I thought it was a good logical sort of explanation. So what happens here is we actually have a lot of guilt from this incarnation experience. So if you think about all these lifetimes kind of compounding, we have a lot of guilt from a lot of different things that we've done, and a lot of them, it might be 500 lifetimes ago, but we did shitty things a long time ago because our consciousness was not very developed. So, we would do things that weren't something that we would know better about now. Like, for example, look at, say, cruelty to animals, and how we have progressed as a species of humans in the last 100 years. Okay, we're not perfect, we still do shitty things to animals, but compared to 100 years ago, we've come, I would say, a long way, for the most part, comparatively speaking. We're not farming cats and dogs as much as we used to be in some countries in the last 100 years. Do you see what I mean? Like, okay, I know there's always going to be some bad examples if you look at dog fighting or cockfighting or those kind of things, but for the most part, there's more of an awareness, there's more of a consciousness about that kind of thing. So we are evolving consciously as a species. Sure, some people might think we're still in kindergarten, but some people are progressing faster than others. So the way to have the better incarnation in the next life is to, 1, definitely give up the victim mentality. To never think of it yourself as a victim again. It's super, super low level thinking. It's going to keep you locked into, 1, you're going to keep attracting crap to your life because a victim, if you say you're a victim, or if you think you're a victim or believe you're a victim, in all the subtle ways that manifests, not like you going around saying I'm a victim, but when you're complaining all the time, when you're blaming And, it's the government, it's this, it's, the economy. I mean, that's a victim mentality, believe it or not. If there's, say there's no jobs, you're being a victim, because there are jobs if you want a job. So it's all about the mentality. Are you empowered or are you weak? There's the difference, right? So, one, let go of the victim mentality. Two, letting go of fear. See, sounds simple, sounds easy, but it's not really. So, letting go of all the what ifs, all the fear of the future, not having enough, all of that fear and scarcity, letting go of all that. Number three, forgiving everything. Everything you see, everything that annoys you, everyone that bothers you, all the hurts, all the wounds, all the offenses, and the ones to come. Number three. Number four, remembering who you are. And these aren't in any order, I'm just, giving you the main points. Remembering who you are. You are divinity. You are a child of God. You're a chip off the old block. You are love incarnated. You are all things good and holy and godly. So remembering that, walking in that, knowing who you are. You have all the same power and gifts and abilities as Jesus. Because he knew who he was. He knew he was a child of God. He knew he was the Son of God. Well, you're also the Son of God. You're the same. Some people might disagree with that, but you are the same. You have the same. Look at the way Jesus spoke. He always spoke about us as the child of God, the children of God. Okay, so what else? I think the fastest way there is to join with Spirit, join with God on a daily basis, and listen and trust and let go of what comes up in your awareness. Letting go of the triggers, doing the process work, going to the hard places, and talking this stuff through, processing out hurts and wounds and whatever you've got. We all have different levels of baggage. Some people have a lot more than others, but being willing to do the work and being quite eager to do the work, wanting to grow, wanting to develop, not just to have a better next lifetime, but because you really want to grow as a soul, And this isn't about behavior. I just wanted to mention it's not about perfect behavior. It's not about, being living like a nun or thinking you've got to be perfect. It's really comes down to how you treat other people. I would say that would be the most important thing in spirituality. It's really, how you treat, what's your love level like? How high is that? That's more important than who cares about all the other stuff, how or, whatever. It's all just crap. So, yeah, that's the most important thing, I would say. So all of those things are important and will all lead to a much better incarnation, and letting go of whatever struggles you've had in this life, like whatever you would say your main life challenges have been in this lifetime. Being able to overcome those and turn those around and use those for good and serve humanity and all that kind of good stuff. So if you do all those things, you are definitely guaranteed a good incarnation in your next life. You just let them know that I told you at the pearly gates. You just let them know that when you come back, I said that if you did those things. No, I'm just kidding. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, my website is mariannerogers.com if you're interested in reaching out and getting more information, or reaching out to me to talk about having a session, or if you just want to have a chat with me and see if your situation is right for regression, then feel free. And it's Marianne, let me spell it for you, MARYANNERODGERS.com, so mariannerogers.com. Best way to get hold of me is text. I can work with you one-on-one if you're in Southern California, or if you're able to come this way, or we can work on the phone if it's not too much of an intense situation, and something we can discuss in person if you would like, or on the phone. So take care, look out for more videos on this topic, and I will be talking to you soon. Cheers.